Praise the Lord, church. Uh, I'm going to present on the third saying, John 19:26 to 20:17. When Jesus saw his mother there and the disciple whom he loved standing nearby, he said to her, Woman, here is your son, and to the disciple, here is your mother. From that time on, this disciple took her into his home. I want to start with the importance of Mary in Jesus' life and how Mary introduced Jesus to the ministry. So, as per the Bible scholars, they say that at about the age of 18, Jesus' father Joseph would have died, and from that time on, as an elder son, Jesus was taking care of his family. And at the age of about 30, Jesus started his ministry. Jesus, we see Jesus referring to his mother Mary as woman two times in the Gospel John. One is in John 2 in Cana wedding, and in John 19 on the cross. Jesus' first miracle also started when Mary came to Jesus and asked, saying to Jesus that there is no more wine left in the wedding, and Jesus transformed water into wine. That is the first miracle of the Jesus, and from that time on, his disciples started believing in Jesus. And few things came into my mind as I was meditating on this saying. First thing is Jesus taking care of his mother. We know that Jesus was fully human and fully God. He is completing his earthly deeds, like he's taking care of his mother at the time, which is setting us an example how we should be as a human, helping each other even in our hardest times. Second thing is Jesus knows our sorrows and he can take away them. In Luke chapter 7, we see Jesus going to a widow woman who lost his young son. He immediately saw her and he was he had compassion on her. In John 5, we see in John 5 we see Jesus going to a sick person who is laying on the side of the river, where he was not able to go into that river, but Jesus saw him. Immediately he went to him and asked, do you want to get healed? Knowing the inner feeling of those persons. These are the few instances that Jesus saw the sorrow on the other people. And in Revelation 21:4 it says, he will wipe away the tears. Same way, Jesus saw the sorrow in Mary, and he told this saying to the Mary, like in John 19, as I just read earlier. And the third thing that came into my mind is, Jesus will not leave us orphans. John 14:18 says, I will not leave you as orphans. In the same way, Jesus replaced his earthly position with the John, the disciple whom he loved. Jesus will always have someone for us to help us to come out of our hardest times. It could be a friend, it could be a fellow believer, it could be anyone. Jesus can use anyone to help us. And the fourth point that came into my mind is, Jesus knows our needs. He knew exactly how Mary was feeling and thinking, and he provided that need with the best to fulfill it. So John, as I read in the sermon, John is a loved disciple of Jesus. So Jesus gave his loved disciple the position of his as a son to his mother. And the fifth point that came into my mind is, listen to God's voice. So this is very important, to listen to God's voice and understand what God is trying to say. Not in a moment we see John hesitating to do what Jesus has commanded him to do, right? So he took care of his mother, Mary, without even hesitating, and he took her into the home to take care of her. In the same way, we need to follow and listen to the God's voice and follow his commands. And finally, God's timing. We know our God is a God of timing. So God knows exactly from what time Mary would need John to replace his position. Same way, there are so many things we get, instance like we get today, but we don't know that importance. Later, if we go back and think, we know, oh, this is what God has done to me. The timing, what God knows, no one else knows better than God at what time, what we need, right? So, and I want to end this saying with the Psalms 20:17-14. God has perfect timing for everything. Learn to wait on him. This brings him honor and it brings you peace. Thank you.